Can you hear me, Ryan? Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Week 9 show, The Way of the League. Again, we are back at it. I'm not being controlled by a hand. I'm a fully autonomous puppet. Hey, Darren. How are you doing, buddy?
How are you, Ryan? Good morning.
Every time we do this, it's a little frantic. I got puppet hands. It's hard to control my computer with these flappy things. I'm always having to backspace. I'm always having to delete, but we're getting there. Yes. What a week. God damn it. COVID's ravaging the league, my friend. Absolutely ravaging the league. And we have teams with the entire linebacking crew missing. They're pulling out linebackers from, the garbage truck unions. They're going to, they're like recruiting from the bagging, like Kurt Warner. They're finding linebackers. Like they found Kurt Warner bagging groceries. It's amazing.
Hey, the Baltimore Ravens found Des Bryant somewhere. So,
yes. I'm so glad you brought that up. Are you excited for the return of Des Bryant? Bryant.
I don't know. Is there some streaming channel for practice squads? I don't know what that channel would be, but.
Oh, man.
24/7, Des Bryant.
He is an enigmatic figure. When he was hot, he was really fun to watch. He was kind of the old-fashioned, just go to the corner of the end zone and post up like a defensive player and just wing it at him, and he'll somehow come down with it. He was really good at using his body. No breakaway speed whatsoever.
I think that was kind of the beginning of the era of, when you would see Des Bryant or Megatron, these big kind of bulky, massive wide receivers. It was fun to see how they could just kind of dominate, when they needed to, just get in the end zone and dominate getting the ball.
Would you say that Des Bryant is the Marshawn Lynch of wide receivers?
I guess that's one way of putting it.
But again, like those skill sets seem to decrode. That's not a word. What's the word? They erode. Yes, they erode.
Ryan, it's 2020. You can do whatever you want this year.
Those skill sets decrode faster than other skill sets, it seems. We have fast, speedy wide receivers like Deshaun Jackson are still in the league at elevated ages. I don't know how old he is. In his 30s at least. But Des Bryant, he started to fade fast. Or do you think it was a personal thing? I almost felt like when I was watching the last 2 years of his career, what was it? It was the first year of Dak Prescott, right? Was the last year of Des? Am I correct?
Yeah, I remember one.
Yeah, Dak. I would watch games and Dak would literally not even look on that side of the field. And because I had him on my fantasy team, I'm like, what the F? Freaking pass the ball. And it was like, if he was lined up on the left, he was just, nope, I'm not even looking. Wouldn't even look his way. And it almost felt like a personal beef. But maybe it was just that he couldn't get open, which is probably more likely.
Maybe T.Y. Hilton is this year's version of that.
Yeah. Everyone, and it's, again, if you don't know how to analyze film as we do, you won't be able to really understand the nuances of it, but we're here for you, buddy. Actually, we're not analyzing film, are we? Do you analyze film?
How about, if you'll remember from our Thursday show, I correctly predicted, of course, that Hasty would not have any rushing production at all. The fact that we don't have a Thursday show does not negate that fact that I was right.
Oh, okay. Everybody, the trumpets are blaring for the king, the current reigning champion of our league, Dean Moxley. My friend, I'm glad you brought the belt. I'm glad you're wearing an ominous hoodie like you're the Unabomber. What have you say?
Another week, another win. What else is new?
Another? You were the points winner of the league again. I almost had you this one. We were very close, and I know you're worried about this. I know you're noticing me. I gave you a run for your money last week. I think I was the first person to actually challenge you, And this week, or last week, boom! Boom! The potential of my team is coming through.
It's good.
Well,
See you in the playoffs because I already beat you this season.
Dean's coming in like nonplussed. Nothing I'm saying is phasing this man. He's wielding weapons of fire.
Stone face.
All right, we are going to go through each game. We have 13 games on the docket. We are going to go through them and talk about the fantasy implications. We'll give out some fantasy awards at the end of the show. But right now, let's show everyone our Twitter poll. Look how professional. Let me get that shit all the way. Here we go. This is this week's Twitter poll. Week 9. Go over to @WayLeague. For the first question, over under Antonio Brown with 7 targets. What's going to happen this week? Number 2, who will score more fantasy points? Tua Tagovailoa or Josh Allen? Number 3, over under Mason Crosby at 1 touchdown. Ooh, what a little trick question. Question number 4, who will have more total yards, Christian McCaffrey or Derrick Henry? And number 5, over under Garrett Gilbert with 2 turnovers. So we have that going on Twitter, and we will, at the end of this, we will give you our reactions, and we will show you a tally of how we are doing eventually. Not this week. The minions were not able to get those numbers. All right, guys,
I'm gonna have to have a talk with the minions. I don't know if I want to look at my record. We're gonna have to do a recount or something.
All right. No, you're right about that. We'll see. I think I'm actually dominating the predictions poll, but that's a bunch of hubris. Let me ask you guys, the debate is the patriotic reign of the Patriots a Brady to an emanation of Brady's talents, or is it Belichick? Everyone's talking about it. I want to hear your guys' opinion.
Go ahead, Dean. You get for being the leader.
Yeah.
You get first dibs.
Fine. I think last week I said it pretty well. Tom Brady is still slinging that football, still doing the thing. He's the greatest player to ever play the sport. I won't hear any arguments against him. However, saying that, I do think Bill Belichick is the greatest NFL head coach of all time. I think it's a combination of the two of them, and I definitely think it's a rebuilding year. I do not expect to see Bill Belichick miss the playoffs in consecutive years. However, Tom Brady's doing better than Bill Belichick is this year, so I think he does have the majority of why the Patriots were so good for so long. I mean, he's the one on the field, right? He's the one actually throwing the ball.
Okay, so you think it's not so black and white, but it's steering more towards Brady's abilities?
I'd skew it in favor of the player over the coach.
All right.
Yeah, and I would agree with that. I mean, I think, look, it's kind of a combination effect, right? Belichick is brilliant, but you still need the execution, right? And so, as brilliant as Belichick can be this year, the players are just not executing. So I think, you can see how the impact that Tom Brady had, even if his skills were starting to, in a sense, diminish, or the production, I'll say that production was starting to diminish, last year. He's now in a new system, revamped, and is he like QB number 5 over the season or something like that? He's doing great.
Still an elite talent.
Yeah.
My question is, because I don't remember exactly when he was diagnosed, but I'm pretty sure the Patriots were doing all right pre-COVID Cam Newton. I'm pretty sure they didn't start getting their ass whooped until Cam got COVID, and then he just didn't come back playing the same ball.
That is true. So
it was one game. I believe it was like really not. Anyways, yeah. I don't know if they're playing decent talent. And the defense, I mean, Cam Newton is not on defense. There's some sort of echo right there. What happened? You hear me? Anyway, so.
Yeah, I'm going to have to drop real quick. I'll be right back.
Okay. All right. Did that fix it? Whew, thank you. That was not tenable. I don't want you guys to hear me twice. It's already enough to deal with me at once. Yeah, so I'm glad that the analysis is as high end as it is right now, because if you look at what the national broadcasters are saying, it's as if they can't look at the roster of the Patriots and make any rational conclusions. No one could. I did want to ask, and I will ask when Dean gets back. I'll ask you right now. What would the record be for the Patriots if Brady was on the team right now?
Probably another win, maybe two, because look, I think Dean's point on Cam doesn't seem to be the same quarterback ever since he got COVID. I mean, now that he is back now, so he's playing, but just the efficiency is not there. And I mean, outside of his running, which Brady never did, I think Brady has totaled. I think he just got over a career 100 yards for his entire career. Not that he had one game of 100 yards rushing. Like literally, I think he's just over 100 yards for his entire career rushing.
That is fantastic stat. That is one of the most incredible.
That's insane. And obviously Cam has that ability, but he has nothing else. He has nothing else going right now. So I think if Brady was there, probably another game or two win,
Do you think
which then puts them clearly in the playoff picture?
Mm-hmm. Well, okay, so let's add Dean again. So Dean, Darren was answering this question. What would the Patriots record be with Brady right now?
Ooh, okay. So I'll be completely honest. I've been paying more attention to Brady than the Patriots just because they're a better team. So I haven't been watching the Patriots games. I don't know how the rest of their talent is performing. But with Brady,
it's hard to call it talent.
Yeah, sure.
I've heard an analysis saying that no Patriot player would be a starter on any other team. That's literally something I've heard a national broadcaster say, that no Patriot player would even be a starter on another team. Except for Gilmore.
We're in a league with the New York Football Jets, so I don't necessarily believe that's true.
All right, so so that's a good discussion. The national news, or the broadcasters on the big networks, our direct competitors,
the so-called experts.
Yeah, the so-called experts, they talk as if they don't know how to even look at a lineup and look at the Patriots lineup and make any rational conclusions. They're just wildly saying like, "Oh my God, look at Belichick is being exposed." and when Belichick said, "Hey man, we just spent a lot of money before. We have no money now. This is what it looks like." They're like, "Oh, he's giving up the towel. He's throwing it in. He's letting everyone know he's a fucking fraud." And I think it's really silly. I basically agree with both of you guys. I think that we can't make any conclusions based on what's happening with Cam and based on what's happening on the field right now, because just the roster is abysmal. No magician coach would be able to pull some things off. But also, hell, you could almost say that some of the games that were close could be, Belichick masterminding just to be able to get it that close, and then Cam Newton does some he's lost 2 games for them in a row, and his press conferences are commendable. He's taking full credit for everything. He's owning up, which I appreciate, and he looks great. He's always dressed to the nine. But yeah, okay. We can move off of that. I want to remind everybody, yes, we are the Way of the League. Our Twitter is @WayLeague. This is a show surrounded by fantasy co-creators of Wheel of Time content and Wheel of Time fans. So we are fantasy nerds who like fantasy football. Let's get into the docket of games, shall we? And we can start with... Look at that professionalism again! Damn it! Get that off. Damn it, get that off. All right, here we go. All right, we have the Seahawks at the Bills, and the over-under is 55 points. Now, key points are Jamal Adams is returning for the Seahawks, and the Seahawks defense gives up 358.7 yards per game. I put those two together because that might change. Jamal Adams is that good. He is a game changer. The Bills only have 210 passing yards over the last 4 games. Russell Wilson is on pace for 4,900 passing yards, 600 rushing yards, which is going to, if he keeps it up, beat Dante Culpepper's record that he set in 2004. Remember those years, guys? Did you have Dante Culpepper on your fantasy team in 2004?
Never had Dante Culpepper.
No,
was
God.
not playing fantasy football in 2004.
Shh, don't admit this, guys. We're losing credibility as we speak. All right, let's get into these numbers, right? Seahawks at Bills. Anything to talk about? What's on your mind with those games?
Well, I'm glad that you pointed out, that they actually have two defensive starters. The Seahawks actually have two defensive starters coming back, so not just Jamal. I think,
great.
Is that going to fundamentally make them a top 10 defense? No, they are by far giving up the most amount of air yards, right? Passing against them. They have a decent run defense, but they are just giving up gobs of passing yards.
Look at this. Just to that point, they're giving up 358.7 passing yards. No team in the history of the league has averaged over 300 passing yards a game. So they are, by far, if they keep this up, going to crush the record as the worst passing defense in the history of the league. They're outpacing it by 58 yards. Crazy, right?
So I think, obviously that means that you're clearly starting Diggs. I mean, he's a top 10 wide receiver, period. John Brown is back. He's healthy, for the Bills. Cole Beasley, the slot receiver. All three of them could have a really good day.
Yeah, fire them up.
But I do think it will impact the fact that Seattle's defense is starting to get some of their starters back. I think you could see good games by all the three main Bills receivers, but do any of them completely go off? I don't know. I think there's going to be some positive regression, to use that fun fantasy term, for Seattle's defense. So,
Dean, do you think the Bills will? Well, okay, look at it. So they are averaging 210 yards a game for the last 4 games. Do you think they'll get over 250 this game against the Seahawks?
Total yards, of course.
Passing yards,
of course.
Okay.
You see this title right here?
Uh-huh.
You know what this title is built on?
No, I'm talking about the Bills passing against the Seahawks.
I understand.
Okay, yeah.
I'm watching this game. I think it's going to be a shootout. The Seahawks have been in quite a few shootouts this year, and I think Buffalo's quarterback's hot, and he's going to throw bombs, and Russell's going to come back and throw bigger bombs.
I disagree, but go on, Darren. What do you think?
I do think that Josh Allen will get a little bit of his magic back that he had in the first couple of weeks. I do think that he's showing that he's not as good as people were thinking after those first couple of weeks. I mean, everyone was talking Josh Allen MVP. He's going to outperform Russell Wilson. Well, I think we've seen that he's still a average to better than average quarterback, but maybe not an MVP. This week, I think he looks a little bit more like the MVP level, but still, those starters, I think they're gonna be able to control him a little bit.
I think that I disagree. I think that Josh Allen's going to have 2 turnovers. I think the Seahawks are going to return to being disruptive. The Bills have not looked good, and the talent, and I don't believe is because of the teams they've been facing. Moving on.
Well, let's last thank for that one.
Let's go back.
Obviously, with all this talk on the passing game and the receivers, it just means that Zach Moss is going to have 3 touchdowns, and they're going to do everything through the ground now. So,
Yeah, so all of us are wrong.
Here's the question for this game, though. Is it going to be DK Metcalf or is it going to be Tyler Lockett?
Yeah.
Russ throwing through today.
Yeah, they seem to be trading places.
The answer is yes.
Yes. All of them. Okay, any other points for that game? Nope. All right. Dean, I love what you bring to the show. It's fun to have you here. We are going to the Ravens at the Colts. The over-under is 48 points, and the Ravens, let's get into it, are the best rushing offense, while the Colts are the second best run defense. How is that going to play out? Darius Leonard is back at linebacker for the Colts, so we are talking about a team with the second run D, and now they're getting a potential Hall of Fame linebacker back. The Ravens are down 2 players on the O-line. The Colts are last in the league for yards per rush attempt. The Ravens are bottom 10th in plays per game, which is an odd stat, and Lamar Jackson has had 4 games with fewer than 18 points. Is this going to be one of them? What say you guys?
I think so. I just find it hard. I mean, let's look back last week. So the Ravens played against my Pittsburgh Steelers, and we were talking about how the running game for Baltimore down Mark Ingram. So now you have Dobbins, who sounds like a Lord of the Rings character to me, but we'll set that aside. You got Dobbins and you got Gus Edwards, right? And so we were talking about how are they going to do anything against the strong Steelers rush defense, right? And yet they both did pretty well. I think that was more of a fluke because now they're going to be against another strong run defense. I can't imagine they're going to have, a lot of success against Indianapolis, right? I just don't see it. So if you have either one of those running backs and you're trying to decide between them and some other running back, one, post on our show here, send in your questions. We'll see how it compares to someone else. But
smooth.
See, hey,
smooth.
I'm here for you.
That was great. Go on. I'm just going to call it out.
I just don't think that they're going to do much, right? Indy's just going to be too strong. I just can't see the Ravens scoring too much here.
What do you think's going on with Lamar? Why isn't he running like he used to?
I don't know. Maybe in the back of their minds they're like, it's 2020. We got to protect him. We just got to get through the year without him tearing an MCL or something. I don't know what it is. Some sort of COVID comes onto the field and trips him. This happens all the time, though. Like if you look at who did amazing one year, I'm looking at Herbert this year, right? Rookie quarterback for the Chargers. He's going off. People, next year he's going to be drafted top 5, top 7 QB in fantasy football, and then he's going to fall apart because teams are going to look back at this year's tape. They're going to figure out what they were doing and what the defenses did wrong against them, and then figure out a way to scheme against that, right? I think people have schemed against the Lamar Jackson. They've kind of figured out what he was doing successfully last year, which no one could figure out last year, and then they scheme against it this year, right? Plus, you have new players. You always have different players, and I just think, situation's different. People have figured out what they were doing and how to prevent it, and he's less efficient.
What do you think about Gus Edwards this week? He keeps getting touchdowns. Do you think he's going to get another one this week?
I think he's still if I'm going to play one of them. I think last week showed that they kind of want to use Dobbins as kind of the lead back, but that Gus Edwards is kind of still the guy that they use at the goal line. So he is more likely to get a touchdown. They in the Ravens for the entire year, even with Mark Ingram, have been using Gus Edwards kind of if they're ahead the last quarter, they just kind of go to Gus Edwards to finish off the game. And so he gets some of his production because he kind of does the quarter 4 work. And
he's he falls forward well. You can always make sure he's going to get 2 yards just falling forward. And if you're on the goal line, touchdown.
Yeah.
There's a lot of careers are surrounded by people who could just get the 2 yards and boop and just make sure that is a forward fall because it's a game of inches. Yes.
We should start an award and call it the Todd Gurley Award because that is Todd Gurley's career right there especially the last couple of years.
Yes. Although we are seeing something new. He's so forward he's going so forward he just can't even stop when he needs to.
Hey, I will say, so I think you guys will appreciate this because I think one of the funnest things when you're talking fantasy shop is things like how good would a player be if only they would have ... right? And so it's kind of like when I look at Marquise Brown, the Ravens wide receiver, he would be a top 10 wide receiver if he just converts his air yards, right? Meaning at least a couple of times a game, Lamar Jackson will throw a 40, 50-yard pass to Marquise Brown. And a number of times, it's like right off of the tips of his fingers. It's for some, weird reason he caught it, but then he dropped it for, some strange reason. And if he just converted those opportunities, he'd be a top 10 wide receiver. But guess what? He hasn't. So
no, I hear you.
His numbers don't look that great because of those fingertip drops and things of that sort. So,
or can we just say he's just not an elite talent right now? Because of that, I mean, he has elite skills, he has elite physical abilities, but he's not putting it all together like a Tyreek Hill is.
No, I mean, the talent's there, his speed is there, the opportunities are there.
But like Tyler Lockett doesn't drop. I mean, if you give anything I guess we're just talking about balls that are catchable. How many times he's dropping catchable balls, and there's analytics for that. I'm sure we could get our minions on that, but. I imagine Tyler Lockett's score and, dropping catchable balls is way better than Marquise Brown. And that's what I'm talking about. Like, you could have all the physical skills, but if in the very moment, you can't make that slight adjustment to come down with the ball, you're just not elite yet.
Well, I call it more of the inefficiency of Lamar Jackson.
Oh, you're putting on Lamar. Oh, okay. I misread that. Okay.
I think if Marquise Brown is playing on Seattle's offense and Russell Wilson is throwing to him, he's catching them and going to the house.
Do you think it's something about having won the MVP and then your mindset can change? Also, like you're pushing for that and right, and now maybe he's more thinking, okay, I got that. Now he could be more team oriented, or so. I don't know what could it be. It's just it's so very interesting.
I don't know if it's because he won the MVP, but I do think that I think in his mind he doesn't think the team needs him to be the reason that they win, so he can just kind of sit back a little bit more.
That's what I was wondering. Yeah. All right, so we got a great question. The official Young YouTube channel. Good luck on your channel, my friend. Should I start DJ Dallas or Rojo? Oh, DJ Dallas, sorry. Yeah, if you're talking about Ronald Jones and then DJ Dallas, yes, it doesn't even matter if it's PPR or not. I'm going DJ.
Yeah, I agree because I think the volume will be there. He didn't look great. Let's admit, DJ Dallas didn't look great, but he got the volume. He definitely got. I mean, he obviously got the carries near the goal line, which just helped him get to touchdowns. So hey, there's that. So I think you go with him. Fournette just seems to be trusted now. Ronald Jones, he'll miss a block and then he's sat, and then the coach will sit him for the next 2 quarters.
Seriously. So yeah, I think Ronald Jones is maybe even a better talent and better situation than Dallas, but I think there's always the Fournette equation. What say you, Athaan Shadar?
I got to agree with you guys. I have nothing else different to say about it. Yeah. All
right. Do you think DJ Dallas is a top 10 running back this week?
Top 10? Wow.
Yes.
What do you think, Dean?
I don't know. He could be if he scores 2 touchdowns. Of course.
Yeah.
Other than that,
personally,
I don't think so.
Unless
he gets them two scores, I don't think his yardage puts him in the top 10.
All right. I think that what we saw was his first game. I saw bad plays, and then I saw Russell Wilson do that kind of amazing leadership thing where he goes right back to him to make sure he got the touchdown, and was very rewarding for him. I think DJ Dallas, although the expert consensus rankings have him at 22, I have a feeling he's going to break the top 10 this week. I think.
Wow.
Yeah.
Bold.
Yeah, we're bringing it. Although, in fact, because we don't actually go back and see if any of our predictions are correct, we could just make wild predictions and sound really smart. And no one's watching. Just kidding. All right, so. All All right, let's move on. I'm going to remind everybody at the halfway point, I will take a 10-minute break. We'll show you some music, and then we'll come back and keep analyzing the games. But the next game is going to be the Texans at Jaguars. And I did it again. Boop, boop. All right. Texans at Jaguars. The over-under is 50.5 points. We got Jake Luton to start at quarterback. Yes, Luton. Are you going to be Luton-free this week? I imagine most lineups are. We have the Texans that are the worst run defense in the league, which is shocking to hear. We have Brandon Cooks, who is equaling 21.6 points per game over the last 3 games. So that's his fantasy value has been consistent. The Texans are down 3 linebackers. They got COVID-ed. Serious COVID-ed. Schwap! Let's give you a COVID slice. And the Jags rank 28th against the run. Yes. What is behind these numbers, guys? We're talking Texans at the Jaguars.
Yeah.
Why are we talking Texans at the Jaguars?
Because it's a football game. And because we don't want to discriminate. It's
Sure.
okay. It is shocking how bad the Texans are playing. They have the same record. But if you look at the lineups are incomparable. The Texans have a way better lineup. It's crazy.
Well,
yeah.
outside of the last couple of games, where the Texans are looking better because the coach is new, right? They got rid of the coach after the 5 games. They look better now, which has helped, especially Brandon Cooks, Cooks,
Yep.
Fuller. I mean, they are maybe even Randall Cobb is playable, but I think Fuller you're playing, Cooks you're playing. The efficiency of the offense, with Watson, which has increased, is my point. You're playing them, man. Outside of Robinson for the Jags, the running back, I don't. Who else are you playing? I picked up I picked up Chark, right, in multiple leagues, and there's no way I'm playing him this week. Maybe he'll be proven wrong, but Luton, what do we know about him? Robinson, you're playing for the Jags, but I can't see anyone else on the Jags.
I agree. Although, it's fun to hear people talking as if they know what Jake Luton's doing. I've heard someone going into Jake Luton's college career and looking at those stats, and someone broke down Jake Luton's what is it, like the narrative on him coming into college as basically a game manager. He's not fast. He's not going to run the ball. He is just more like a game manager type. So we'll see. But then I've also heard people saying wild speculation that Mr. Jake Luton's going to be surprisingly great. But we'll see. I mean, the Texans, again, are not a very good defense. So there's always this chance that some stupidity comes in, breakdown plays. There's always that chance. That's what's so fun about football.
Hey, let's without knowing much about him, let's at least give him props. He can't be much worse than Minshew, can he?
God, Minshew has what is the Minshew effect? Some games he's completely on, some games he looks like he doesn't know how to play the game. Like, what do you think about that? Like, as a coach, that must be the most frustrating thing because you see all this potential. I mean, he literally. Or is he just too reliant on that kind of backyard, like football, like street ball, like mentality where he can invent plays, but that's like unsustainable? Is that kind of the issue with the football?
Isn't it the issue that it is his well-conditioned hair that is very flowy? And where's that photo? Where's the Minshew photo? You got that?
Oh, hello.
There we go.
Hello. Do I?
He's not aerodynamic. The wind slows him down.
That's great. That's great. And that is it. And then maybe if Daniel Jones had this hair to help him like with the aerodynamics of that run, he wouldn't have tripped. All right. Let's move on to the Bears at Titans, shall we? Bears at Titans. The over-under is 47.5 points. So again, these over-unders are being from midday Saturday. Let me just point that out. Midday Saturday, they can change sometimes. So the Titans are bottom 10th against the pass. Nick Foles has been throwing under 7 yards per attempt for 6 games in a row. Think about that. The Tennessee's defensive line is not pressuring quarterbacks well recently. Last week against a team that had, I think, 4 starters out on the offensive line, they were only able to hit the quarterback twice. And so the Titans have 2 starting tackles out, and here comes Khalil Mack from the Bears. The Tennessees are equal the last in opponent third downs converted. So they are not able to stop the other team from converting third downs on them, and the Bears are the second worst at converting third downs. I love it when stats are fun. What's behind those numbers, guys? What do you say?
Well, I mean, I think if you're looking at, the Bears receiving core, right? You're always starting Allen Robinson, period. No matter how bad the quarterback is, whomever that is, you're playing Allen Robinson. But given the Titans, defense against the pass and how bad they are, I think you could feasibly start Mooney, right, as a second wide receiver, or Jimmy Graham, tight end. He's strung together a couple of strong games, and I think you can look at starting them as well against the Titans.
How about the quarterback?
No.
I mean, okay, it's just not that. Okay, they have to be really bad. All right, so Darius Slayton. Oh, wait, no, I'm sorry. Yes, Allen Robinson is the expert consensus ranking 13th wide receiver this week. So, yeah, basically you are starting him as a 1 or a 2 in your league for sure. And who is the other name you mentioned? Mooney, yes. Daryl Mooney is the expert consensus ranking 45th wide receiver. So the experts, you are saying he should do better than 45. Is that correct?
That's what I'm saying.
All right.
I'm not looking for him to go off, but I'm saying that, depending on what who you're comparing Mooney to, I think he could have a decent floor game. Oh,
I hear you.
Hey, and let's not forget David Montgomery, the running back for the Bears, right? If you want to lock in those 11 fantasy points for running back, he's your guy.
He's another great fall forward. Oh, hey, the experts have him at number 9 this week. They think because the Tennessee has the worst run defense. No, actually, they have the worst pass defense. Fascinating. They have him at number 9 this week. Number 9. I love it how much you differ from the experts, Darren.
It's about being bold. It's about being bold.
And never going back to check and see if you're correct.
Oh, no, I'm always right.
Yeah, that's how it works. It is a fantasy league, right?
Just ask me. I'm always right. Just ask me.
Are you ready for pain? Are you ready for suffering?
Yes, are you ready?
Affirmative.
All right, so we are going to move on to the Panthers at Chiefs, unless anyone has anything else to say about the Bears at Titans. Again, everyone watching, post your line of questions. Everyone must have at least a small tiddly. We'll answer any question you have. You can ask personal questions about our lives too. It's all good. Just interact with us. It is fun. That's why we're doing it. For the interaction. You never talked to a puppet? Fuck it. Let's do it. All right. Are we ready?
Hey, I will say.
Tell me, yes.
Cautionary. I mean, the Bears' defense against the pass is pretty strong. So, while Tannehill has been extremely efficient, and he's getting AJ Brown back. I mean, they have good receivers for the Titans, but cautionary. Who else do you have? You're obviously starting Brown, right? Probably Corey Davis. I know, Ryan, I think you're a big fan of Corey Davis, right?
I think all right. Corey Davis is a must start this week,
even against the Browns defense. I mean,
the Bears. Yes.
All right, you heard it here.
I'm riding.
I have him in
Derrick Henry train this year, but I am a little concerned about him going up against Khalil Mack. I think those are two big boys, and they're gonna smack each other all game long.
Yes. Sounds great. Sounds like what we want. This is why we're here. All right. Smacking men smacking. All right, we are going to go on.
Where's that drop? Where's that drop?
Panthers. Wait, no, let me do this correctly. I'm going to turn off the banners. Oh, man, these minions. Get on the ball, minions. All right, Panthers at Chiefs. The over-under is 52.5 points. Here are some pertinent facts. The Chiefs are third in the league against the pass, which is great. They're amazing. It's just astounding that they're so good on defense and on offense. What is happening over there? What is happening to an Andy Reid team that they're actually playing defense? Ah! All right, McCaffrey, though, this week is returning. And what will the Panthers look like moving forward with him? The Chiefs lead the NFL in turnover margins. Teddy Bridgewater has a neck injury from that gross hit he took in Atlanta, but he is practicing in full and should be playing. Just watch out, though. Guys, protect the neck. And the Chiefs are averaging 39 points per game over the last 3 games. Just silly Madden numbers. All right. What do we think about McCaffrey returning?
Well, first, can you go back to that? I want to see. How'd you spell McCaffrey? Isn't that the computer virus software to make sure that you are protected?
No, I'm saying that he's finally free. Okay, man, no, you gotta unmute your mic, Dean, and so we can hear your laughter.
Nope, I said that's fantastic.
Yes,
wonderful job.
It's because he's free. No, yeah, you're right. Good. Dude, I'm telling you about these fingers. You try and type with these freaking fingers. Look at these things. Ugh. I need adaptive keyboards. All right, Panthers at Chiefs. So do the Panthers have a chance to hold the Chiefs down and make it interesting?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
Do you think Teddy Bridgewater?
Interesting if they, if McCaffrey comes out and has a great game and scores 2 touchdowns, it'll be exciting to watch. But I think the Chiefs win. They're gonna spank them.
Okay, you're thinking this is spanking. How about you, Darren?
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. I'm looking forward to the game only because I want to see CMC. Again, what a dynamic player. If he's not injured, he's just so much fun to watch. Outside of that, look, Carolina's defense, especially against the run, is bad. I mean, they go all in to try to stop receivers. So do we actually see some production against the faltering, CEH and Le'Veon Bell?
That's what I was gonna say.
I mean, we got to get them going. They've both fallen apart since Bell went to the Chiefs. I don't know what's going on with Edwards-Helaire. This is ridiculous. What they get last week? I don't have it in front of me. I think Bell got less than 20 yards rushing, and CEH got 40 yards or something. It was horrible. But against Carolina, I think there's a bounce back game there.
It's more balanced. Yeah. What do you think? Who do you think is going to have more points this week, Dean? Is it going to be Le'Veon Bell or the law firm of Clyde Edwards-Helaire?
Oh, Bell, maybe. Who knows? Toss the coin, right?
Yeah. Toss the coin. I hear you. I think it's going to be CEH because I don't, when you're talking about a revenge game against the Jets and they don't even really push that narrative or even help that guy out with getting his little revenge hard on, I don't really see a clear path. So yeah, I'm going with the rookie.
What's so frustrating, as a fantasy owner, is the Chiefs were way ahead, and normally that means game script is you're going to run the ball, and they just kept passing. They passing. They didn't give them an opportunity.
Yeah. Yes, they did. It seems like sometimes you just think when you have such a great quarterback and the league is so tight, I feel like sometimes coaches are kind of narrating scripts so that their quarterback can be in the MVP conversation more, right? Do you ever get that sense?
Yeah.
It definitely, this feels like what's happening with the Seahawks. I mean, I started out the year with Chris Carson, and I watched that very first game, and he was running like mad. He was blowing people up. They get to the 1 yard line, and Russell Wilson threw every touchdown off of the one, and they wouldn't even run it out. I was like, oh no, it's happening. It's happening. And it's been proven correct. It's just, they are going to get that guy as many passing touchdowns as possible, it seems. Which is fine. I mean, I think good for the game, and good for his career, and good for the Seahawks. It seems to be working. Clearly, it must be a strategy because they knew their defense is just going to be abysmal. So they're like, well, we got to uncork this guy. So let's go.
Yeah.
But it does also feel like they're just kind of giving them the little like, hey, man, you deserve it. Let's get you in there.
Yeah. I will say, I think, you're obviously starting all the stars on the Chiefs. For fantasy owners that are trying to figure out, with Sammy Watkins out, because
he is out. Yeah,
that kind of opens up that wide receiver 3 on their team, whom can always have a lot of great production. It's the Chiefs. It's Mahomes. If you're trying to decide, do I start Robinson? Do I start Hardman? I don't know. Again, against Carolina's stronger defense against the pass, I don't know if you can trust those guys as kind of that flex wide receiver that you might be considering. So again, depends on what other alternatives you have, but it could be limited for the kind of the stretch wide receiver 3 on the Chiefs there.
I hear you. What do you think, Dean? Play our Chiefs. Anybody on the other team offensively are you looking into?
I mean, I think you could.
Except McCaffrey. How about Bridgewater?
I don't think. I mean, in a super deep league, you might be starting Teddy Bridgewater. I don't see it though.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe Robbie Anderson. Robbie Anderson usually does pretty well. I would say he'd be at least a flex.
Yeah, I think actually Bridgewater is going to be a potential top 20 play this week for sure. I think he's got a solid floor. He's making plays. He's still making plays with his legs. He's not doing a lot of turnovers. So yeah, I think this might be an actual real surprising blowout, and I think Bridgewater is going to have a great game. That's my call. Okay,
Bridgewater.
But I can't tell you how many passing touchdowns he's going to have because I do believe the McCaffrey effect is going to be real, and so it might be like a huge McCaffrey game. But I do believe Bridgewater is going to play great, and I don't think he's going to have any turnovers this week, even though the Chiefs lead the league in turnovers. What's that?
So he also very well may be throwing to Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah, and you got a point.
Gets a lot of touchdowns out of the backfield.
Yep.
All right. Anybody in the chat, if you guys see or hear of any great big news, of any shocking sit starts, anybody out, let us know. We are trying to keep track of that also, but we're doing the show live, so help us out if you want. Also, post your lineup questions. It's fun for us to talk about. We have a format, but we will stop in a heartbeat, and that's the unwritten rule. We are here for you, so we will stop instantly and talk about your questions.
Hey, Ryan, show those Twitter questions again.
Great suggestion. We have a Twitter poll, and at the end of this broadcast, we will tell you our answers, and we will look at Twitter's responses. It is at Way League, and then questions are: 1, what is the over/under Antonio Brown with 7 targets? 2, who will score more fantasy points? And we're talking Yahoo scoring. Is it going to be Tua Tagovailoa or Josh Allen? Number 3, the over/under Mason Crosby at 1 touchdown. Yes, that's Mason Crosby, the backup quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Number 4, who will have more total yards, Christian McCaffrey or Derrick Henry? And the over/under for Garrett Gilbert having 2 turnovers against the Steelers. All right, those are our official Twitter questions. Go on over to Twitter and let us know what you think, or just tell us your answers in the comments. That would be fun also. And we are let's go into one more game and before we take our break. Does that sound great? All right.
Sure.
Awesome. Dean, did you have a long night? You look a little tired. You look a little tired.
Birthday party. Last night was my birthday party, so I'm pretty good right now, I guess.
I'm very, very, very impressed that you made it today. Excellent. I thought your birthday was last week. Did you have a birthday week?
No, so nobody wanted to have a party on Sunday, so I didn't do anything Sunday. So my wife threw one together for yesterday.
Awesome. And we're okay. Dean Athan Shadar. We should maybe add that Dean in there. So because I keep calling you Dean, but not your real name. Anyway, so Giants at the football team, and please, if there is a God, let's let them keep that. That is the greatest name ever. Just the football team. The over-under is 43 points. The Giants punished this week. Breaking news, the Giants have punished Golden Tate for one game for being a baby. He had a tantrum about his usage on the field, and the Giants said, F you are not even traveling with us. Now, this is the Ron Rivera return game. My God, he rang the bell. Everyone loves Ron Rivera, and he is returning from his battle from cancer. Is that going to mean that the football team is going to bring it? All right. Are they going to bring it? The team has the number one passing defense in the league. Kyle Allen, on the other hand, has thrown one interception this year. And Daniel Jones is 3-0 versus this team, but he's 1-16 against the rest of the league. Ain't that a crazy stat? What's behind those numbers?
Man, this is one of those games I don't want to watch. I don't think either team is going to get it going. Like if you look at their first matchup against one another this year, it was just bland. I don't think they got to, what was the over under? Was it 43 points? Is that what it said?
Hold on, I'm doing something else. But yeah, go on. I'll get to that.
Whatever. I just think I don't know. I can't see any bust out performance. I mean, look, McLaurin is always, you're always going to start him, right? Washington's wide receiver, but I don't know. I just it's hard to see anyone else really going off this week.
Yeah, so you're right. The over-under is 43 points. 43 points. Not a lot of scoring expected. I hear you. It seems like the other team's strengths are going to be countering the few strengths of each other. So, and
I mean, if there's anything to say about, like, some of the players, Daniel Jones has been horrible, but he's certainly better when Sterling Shepard is playing, right?
Yes.
So, does he have a decent game? Maybe. Does that put him in the top 12? Likely not.
This is the best passing defense in the league.
Yeah, so you're not starting him. Sterling Shepard, you're probably starting because he's had like 19 straight games of 7 targets or something ridiculous like that.
So volume play, nice floor. You're not expecting 2 touchdowns. I would personally be avoiding any Giant this week.
Yeah.
And I think Washington might actually, my prediction is Washington is going to get a defensive touchdown. And I think this over-under might actually be broken, but it might actually be because of defensive scoring.
You're saying go get their defense against
Washington's defense? Oh, yeah. I went and picked up Washington's D, and I've been playing them against the Giants for sure. And it's
definitely hard to trust any Giant, but again, you're going to have a certain floor with Shepard. Ingram, the tight end, he gets volume too. He's actually been catching some of that volume over the last couple of games.
Yes, he had a beautiful pass towards the sideline, about 15 yards last week. It was great.
He wasn't before though. He was catching nothing before.
You are right.
Against Washington's defense, we'll see if that continues, but hard to trust.
All right, so let's, in the comments real quickly, our friend Kevin Northcutt saying Knuckles are chasing 8 rings this week, Darren. So this is in the league that our friends are in. Darren is chasing 8 rings. That is correct. He literally is chasing his 8th ring in a row. And
not in a row.
Okay.
My fifth title in a row in that.
Okay, something, yeah. And now, and Knuckles is usually amongst the last. So this is a comedy message. Thank you very much. Malkier Talks, a regular guest on our show, says, sorry I'm not there, fellas. Had a crazy night. We don't care. Feel free to jump in. Crazy or not, Dean is barely alive right now, but he's still with us. All right. He's taking his medicine. It's all good. All right. So that is it for the Giants at the football team.
One more
I
comment.
would also make an argument that that you're playing the Giants defense this week as well. The Giants defense has been surprisingly good in our league. I picked them up against, I think it was Dallas. They put up 17 points. They played against the Eagles. I think they put up 12 points. I think I would play them this week if I had them.
Interesting call.
No, I like that. I've heard other people make that call too. Yeah, I mean, the over-under is 43 points. They don't believe that there's a lot of scoring, and I'm actually thinking some of that's going to be defensive scoring on Washington's side. So, yes, the Giants' defense might be a pickup of the week. Dean, bringing it.
Last word on that, but reflecting on that comment, I think the Giants' defense, will slow down Washington. Outside of McLaurin, again, he seems to go off almost every game. Has a decent, high floor, very high floor. If you have to play Gibson, maybe even McKissick, again, depends on who you're choosing between. I could see playing them, but hopefully you don't have to make that choice.
I hear you. All right, I just want to point out that Dean went outside, but he did not take his championship belt. That could be for one of two reasons. One, it's just so bright and shiny, he wants to save us from the reflection of the sun into the camera. Or two, he doesn't want his neighbors to see and try and steal it from him. I think Dean lives kind of, in a lawless country. It's more like the purge down there. So you can't walk around with nice things or people just yank it from you at gunpoint. Am I right, Dean?
Yeah, sure. I don't want to blind you guys. We'll go with that one.
Yes, sure. All right. F you. Okay, so I'm going to keep the banner scrolling with the information. This is the big news. Calvin Ridley is out. Officially out. We didn't know, but now we know. Thanks for that, minions. We are going to take a 10-minute break. We're going to play some music, and then we will be back going through the last slate of games. Thank you guys for watching. Again, get your lineup questions ready, and we will be back in 10 minutes. Here we go. And everyone mute if you can. Welcome back. Welcome back, everybody. I am emerging. Here I am. Welcome back, everybody. It is my pleasure to introduce a new guest. And here we go. Malkier Talks is now Malkier is late. Malkier is late, but you're great. Better late than never. And I gotta mention, Brother Dan wanted to be here, but he is unable to be here. If he gets through his Puppet Guild obligations, then he will join us when he can. But he is doing secret Puppet Guild activities. Yes, we will not talk about that. I just want to mention them and be elusive about it. That's how I work. All right, so
the first rule of Puppet Club is you don't talk about Puppet Club.
But you mention it a lot, so everyone wants you to talk about it. See? Yeah.
Football is technological.
Just a reminder. I think we are seeing the sky above. Oh, there's Dean. All right, we are all coming together. The show is coalescing into what is going to be for the rest of the week. All right, so real quick reminder, this is our Twitter poll. We have the over-under is Antonio Brown with 7 targets. Number 2, who will score more fantasy points, Tua Tagovailoa or Josh Allen? Over-under, Mason Crosby at 1 touchdown. Who will have more total yards, Christian McCaffrey or Derrick Henry? And the over-under for Garrett Gilbert, the new starting quarterback for the Cowboys, at 2 turnovers. All right. So we have 7 games to get through. We went 6 in the first half, and we have less time now, so we're going to have to just speed it up a little bit. We're going to jump into the Lions at the Vikings. Yes.
Before we go back in the games,
please.
I'm hoping to take a couple of minutes and mine the expert knowledge that's on the broadcast now for this question.
Yes,
so
mine away.
Trade deadlines are coming up in most fantasy leagues in the next couple of weeks, right?
Yes.
And you may be a team who is struggling this year. Maybe you're 3-5 and you're trying to figure out how do I get into playoff contention? Or opposite, maybe you're 7-1, you're dominating the league, and you need to ask yourself, are there trades, and I'm going to call them, are there bad trades, at least what it looks like initially, that can still help your team with whatever your need is? And so what do I mean by that? What I mean is, if you're struggling, right? But let's just say you're a struggling team, but you happen to have Patrick Mahomes, and you either were brilliant in picking up Herbert just on a whim during the draft, or maybe you picked him up off of waivers in the first few weeks, and now he's QB number 5, right? Whatever it is.
Go on. I'm riding you.
I think there's an argument to be made where you literally go in and maybe try to trade Patrick Mahomes to get 2 other skilled players, like someone you can depend on as a wide receiver, maybe. Oh, God damn it.
No, I hear you, because for 2 reasons I want to jump on that. One is there's a very real chance that Patrick Mahomes starts getting sat. If they're not chasing any kind of, they've already lost this year, right? So they're not chasing an undefeated kind of run, which is always fun. And sometimes teams will keep playing their starters when they don't need to. But there's also the effect of them actually saying, okay, well, we're kicking ass and we're going to start taking you out earlier in games, or we're going to, sit you in the last, during your fantasy playoffs. So yeah, but there's a less of a chance of that happening with Justin Herbert. I hear you on that. I think many people might be in that situation. That's a good discussion. So who would you think would be a fair trade? Who would you literally give up Patrick Mahomes for? What 2 players would you think is a good trade for Patrick Mahomes in that situation?
I'm not sure if he's giving us just sort of like tension, the building up, or if he's frozen.
I believe he is frozen. Let's give a little subscribe over by his head. A little, hey, wake up. That's I blew you guys away with that question.
You've broken him. He's there just like,
I did break him. Oh, and then we're gone. Oh, such are the vicissitudes of broadcasting live. Everyone, give us a subscription. Give us a subscribe, please. It's always helpful. Like and subscribe. Yes.
Hit the bell.
As well. I actually don't hit bells. It's very intrusive, man. If you actually subscribe to someone, man, your phone is nonstop. So don't necessarily worry about the bell. Just give a subscribe. We won't bother you. We just want you to say, hey, buddy, we love the effort. All right. Well, as Darren is gone, apparently for good, yeah, he wanted to bring up, these are the mid-year trades, and, we could talk to you specifically, Malkier. You are in a very precarious position in your league. You're right. You are still able to make the playoffs, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's do a lineup check. Yes, that's right. We're going to do a lineup check. Let me share the screen, and let's get into the high fantasy football. Here is the rankings. I am ranked 3rd. Dean Mox's Athan Shadar is number 1. That mother effer. And then here we go down here. Malkier Talks is 12 at 3 and 5. But look at how many teams are at 3 and 5. So when you look at that, you say, okay, you are not necessarily out of this.
Absolutely not.
1 or 2 wins would flip all of this around. So, and you came off of a strong performance last week. So let's look at your team. And we could discuss possible trades you might be considering if you wanted to. Let me see. Is Darren back yet? He is not back yet. All right. And all these banners are in the way. All right. Got him out. All right. So here we go. You have Tom Brady, who is having he's surging. I will say that. He is surging. And it seems to be that they are letting him throw touchdowns from like the 5 yards in, whereas oftentimes back in the Patriots day, that was just run. So he's racking up touchdowns recently. Did you guys know that they are 22 for 22 when they're in the red zone? That is one of the craziest stats. Yeah, you get them within 10 yards, they are going to score a touchdown. So we have Juju Smith. He's been up and down. He's hard to predict. Devontae Adams. You can ride this guy forever. Rex Burkhead.
I must have had about 4 or 5 trade offers for Devontae. They just hit decline every time.
Oh yeah, Yes. Well, I mean, this is the big question. Like, yes, that, and this is what Darren's bringing up. You might be in situations where you would benefit from considering giving up Davante Adams for better players. Right now, you have a lack of production in the running back position. Am I correct?
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, so Jamal Williams is not really going to be relevant probably for the rest of the year, I would say, because Aaron Jones is back. Unless he gets injured, you probably are not going to be wanting to play Jamal Williams. Austin Eckler is on the IR, doomed. A.J. Dillon, right, not even relevant. So what my friend Darren is bringing up is that sometimes you want to package your best player if you feel like you could replace this guy with someone that's somewhat decent, but right now you are lacking in wide receivers also. So you are struggling, my friend, and sometimes you want to swing big, and sometimes you actually will dump the better player to make that big swing sometimes. But aside from that, I'm going to bring in our fancy, get our music going again. You feeling it? All right. So I will move on. I wanted to just give an example of how to consider trades, right? You don't always want to hold on to the absolute best player for certain situations, and one of them being if you feel that that player is going to be on a team that will sit him during your fantasy playoffs. That is a huge issue. It's teams that are dominating oftentimes, well, more likely in past years, and I don't actually, that's a good discussion. Dean, do you think this is happening less and less? It feels like it's happening less and less where starters are sitting like games,
right, to prepare them for the playoffs or protect them from the playoffs.
I mean, I felt like that used to be way more of a pertinent issue like 2 or 3 years ago, but literally this, like 4 or 5 years ago, but the last couple of years, it's like, it's not, or is it just that the situations, no one's really in that situation where they're dominating?
I think it's a much tighter league now than it has been, I would say for the last 10 years or so. It's been getting tighter and tighter there. The Patriots are always going to be the Patriots other than they're not anymore. Aaron Rodgers, we thought that the Packers, they dominated the NFC North for a long time. They don't really do that much anymore. They are.
Yeah, and Aaron Rodgers was one of those players that they would sit, right? And then if you had him, you were bummed because all of a sudden you were now looking at like Tony Romo for your playoffs, and you're bummed because you were having fun with Aaron Rodgers. Yeah, so you're going to have that issue, my friend, I believe, with your team.
We'll see. I think Russ is chasing an MVP year, and if he's still in the thick of it, I don't think he sits.
All right, Darren. You spurred on a very productive conversation. All right, we went into Malkier Talk's team, and we talked about trades he could possibly look at. He has Davante Adams, and then the rest of his team is pretty weak. So I was actually saying, you know what? It actually might not be a dumb idea to package him up to get improvements in 2 other spots, and that was a good visual example we used. I wanted to ask you before we move on to the rest of the league, what do you think about the 2 players that you would consider trading for Patrick Mahomes in the situation you represented? Justin Herbert is on your bench. You have Mahomes. What 2 players would you consider? And then let's move on.
Yeah, well, again, I think strategically it just depends on what your need is, right? So if you're strong, if you already have, let's just say hypothetically, a lot of people are facing this question of like, God, can I just get a tight end who I know is going to be at least semi-productive, right, each week? And maybe you're weak at wide receiver or something like that. So, I mean, in that case, could you package a Mahomes for Travis Kelce for that owner? And let's say Robbie Anderson, right? Because Robbie Anderson has a really high floor. I think he's had at least 7, 9, 10 targets in pretty much every game that he's played this season. And Kelce is like the one, he is tight end 1 in the NFL. And maybe the person who owns Kelce really needs help at quarterback and already has a backup tight end that's decent, right? So it depends on what your need is, but it's just raising the floor. I mean, I guess that's the point. It's raising the floor on players that you can play week in and week out. And if you are dominant in a certain position and they're just sitting on your bench, trade them off. Even if they're a really good player, trade them off to raise the floor on those weak positions that you have.
Yes. Good. All right. We need to.
Oh, last thing.
Yes, please.
Especially like if you're the dominant team in this hypothetical, look out at the fantasy playoffs. Look out weeks 14 through 16. See what you can improve upon for those weeks, right?
Yes. Already people are setting up their, toughness of schedule, they call it, like so you could actually look while you're evaluating trades, you look at whether or not the player is facing the tougher defenses moving forward. And you could actually look specifically at those championship weeks for sure. And that's what Dean is going to face this year with what do you think? Okay, so now last thing, what do you think about Russell Wilson towards the end of the year? Do you think that's gonna be one of the issues? Or are they gonna be sitting him and DK Metcalf? Or do you feel like you could ride them through the fantasy playoffs?
I think go ahead, Dean.
I'm planning on riding them. I think like I was saying earlier, I think Russell Wilson is on pace for an MVP caliber year, and I don't see him sitting him and squandering his chances at that MVP title. So I don't expect them to sit him, and I don't think that's the kind of competitor Russell Wilson is anyway. He might not take as many risks, and you might see him throw the ball away earlier, but I don't think he's just going to sit out.
Yeah, I think it's going to be really hard for any coach, except for week 17, like literally the last game of the season. And I don't know of any fantasy leagues that play week 17 anymore. I know there's a few still out there, but it's really not longer than a game, usually at the end, if someone's going to be benched just to rest them for the playoffs, right? I don't think coaches normally want to do it more than a game. It gives them a little bit of rest, but then you just start getting stale if it's more than one game.
So, do you think it's kind of like an antiquated discussion now? Because back, I want to say like 4 to 6 years ago, that was really an issue, and I felt like they were sitting players more, and now I feel like the last 2 years it hasn't really been a discussion. Do you think that's no longer going to be the issue, that they've discovered that those resting your starters to avoid injury for playoffs is actually hindering teams, and that's why they're not doing it anymore?
Yeah, I mean, unless someone's injured, like they have a nagging injury that they keep playing, they really need more than 1 week. I think coaches are realizing you rest someone for too long, then you've kind of they're out of rhythm, you've kind of lost momentum. It's a one game thing now. But hey, look, 2020, we could still see an extension of the NFL season just to finish up a couple of games. Most teams may already get a couple of weeks rest just because you're going to have an extended season potentially.
Yeah, they were discussing whether the Jaguars game was going to even be played because the entire linebacking crew is out with COVID. All right, well, let's shoot forward and get into some matchups, and then we'll keep the discussion going. We have the Lions at the Vikings. All right, we have an over-under of 50.5 points. All right, so we have Matt Stafford who's been cleared just yesterday, but he has not practiced all week. He has been Zoom practicing. So he throws the ball at the computer. He breaks a screen. They put another screen in front of him. He throws the ball at the computer screen, breaks it. They keep replacing it. That's what a Zoom practice is for a quarterback. The Kenny Galladay is now still out with his hip injury, and he definitely impacts the Detroit Lions. All right, so the Detroit Lions are the bottom in the 20th in defense against the pass and the rush. They are just mediocre all over the place on defense. Kirk Cousins, he has 580 yards, 5 touchdowns versus the Lions last year, and that is with 0 INTs. Is that going to continue, even though Kirk Cousins seems to be having a field day throwing the ball away? Actually, you know what? The last 2 games, they're not letting him throw, so that narrative might be changing. And then Dalvin Cooks, he has 111 yards after contact just last week alone. It is unbelievable to watch him. Who does Dalvin Cook remind you of?
Dalvin Cook, who does he remind us of?
Yeah. What running back in history does he remind you of? Yeah.
Are you going to give us the answer?
Oh no, just okay. No, go on. Well, for me, it just reminds me of LT. But yeah, let's go on. Tell me. Let's get behind the numbers. Lions at Vikings. I'll stop throwing curveballs and.
Can we just take just a moment, maybe a moment of silence, to appreciate the dominance that he had last week?
Yes,
that was remarkable. That was one of the most remarkable fantasy games for a player ever. It was unbelievable.
Well, yeah, and I remember, him just getting stronger and stronger. And it's this they talk about that some players need to really get reps to get going. I don't really understand that, but I don't know if it's like that he is somehow literally juicing up and getting stronger, or is it that the defenses are just fatiguing and he just looks stronger? But that it did look like all of a sudden, but by the end of the game, it was like he was way stronger than when he started, unstoppable.
Yeah, and obviously he's a clear start, but it's good to hear that Stafford is playing. I wasn't sure where that stood. That definitely raises the floor of the Marvins.
Yeah, I have him in. Yeah,
Marvin Jones and Marvin Hall, who had a strong game last week.
Marvin watch.
His ceiling isn't as high, but I think this definitely puts Marvin Jones puts him into play. For a start. Looking at his first whatever it was 5 games. Man, did he look bad. He had nothing going on. But, ever since Golladay has been out, Marvin Jones has been pretty strong. So I'm actually looking to potentially, in the next 30 minutes before we start, I'm probably moving Marvin Jones from my bench up to a starting position in one of my leagues.
Yes, I did that all in this league that we are representing here. I'm playing him this week. Fingers crossed. Anybody got anything else to say about the Lions at the Vikings? Kirk Cousins, is he a viable play? Is anybody playing Kirk Cousins this week? Going once, going twice, gone. Yeah, he's turning into the game manager. They are bringing him back to like the 19. God, who is that Bears quarterback who passed like 10 times? Yeah, they're just letting him hand off, and it's working for them. But that is definitely hitting Adam Thielen's production for sure. Even Jefferson, right? Jeffries, what's his name?
Jefferson,
Jefferson, yeah, he's getting a hit in his production the last couple games also. But
I would not play Jefferson this week. Again, unless you have to. If you're
really?
a wide receiver, but Thielen, God, you're going to feel bad playing him. Kirk Cousins this week. I'm not going to play him if I have to, unless I have to.
Wait, is Jefferson's considered the one now?
No, Thielen's still the one.
Okay, is he outscoring him on the weekly basis?
No.
Who's the better play? Who's the better fantasy producer this year so far? I thought it was Jefferson.
No, Thielen lit up the first half of the year. I've got him, and I will be starting him
tonight. Awesome.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
I think he has a bounce back game. He hasn't produced a whole lot the past 3 weeks, but he should have a bounce back game coming his way. He'll probably catch a touchdown.
That is coming from the championship member of our league. So he's hiding his gold from the roguelike bands that roam around his neighborhood.
They got a lot of outlaws out here.
Yeah, if they get through his booby traps, they'll just come in. Although sometimes you do just dangle that belt around traps, right, just to catch them. Yeah, I'm sure. Anyway, so we are moving on. Any last word? None. We are going on to the Broncos at the Falcons. The over-under is 49.5 points. All right, so here are the pertinent facts. Drew Lock, he is unpredictable. Will the last week fourth quarter lock show up, right? If anybody watched Drew Lock last week, is fourth quarter. If that's his career, he is in the Hall of Fame. Will he show up today against the Falcons? The Falcons are 2-3 since firing Dan Quinn, but if our friend Gurley could have laid down when he should have, we would be 3-3. It would be a 3-game win streak. Fire that guy. What an asshole. And Matt Ryan, he has a 72.3 completion rate when Julio Jones is on the field. And that is the case today. Julio Jones is playing. Calvin Ridley is out. Let's get into the numbers. What do you think about this game?
Yeah, I mean, look, it's the Falcons. I mean, Falcons defense it still remains a treasure trove for whomever they're playing.
Yes. They year in, year out. It's predictable, huh?
Yeah, it's
the
remarkable.
curse. They've never. When's the last time they've had a real defense? They've had some highlight players. I remember they've had some defensive ends that are really dominant, but then never putting it together. What was it? Dante Hall is the last memorable Falcon in the backfield. I can't even name anybody else who's having a career in the Falcons backfield in the last 20 years. All right, go on.
I will say, look, I was having fun talking about the air yards for Marquise Brown, right? And that he would be a top 10 wide receiver in fantasy if he just would catch those fingertip catches that haven't gone his way. I think opposite, so obviously, guess what? We actually win when you get actual points, not just based off of potential points. Todd Gurley, man, what a horrible, horrible running season he's had just when you look at kind of yards per carry and things like that. But he's fallen into the end zone every single week. So guess what? He's getting those points even if he shouldn't be.
He is the expert consensus ranked 10th running back this week. They think he's going to keep falling forward.
Yeah. I mean, how do you bench the guy even when you watch it and it's just ugly watching him run, but he somehow gets the points?
Yeah.
I will say so. I mean, Denver's defense against tight ends is pretty strong. So, Hayden Hurst is probably a fade this week.
Fade.
He's not had the greatest season anyway, but, if you're looking for a bounce back, I'm not sure you're getting it this week for Hurst.
Very, very helpful. Very helpful. Rob, is that some of that new equipment you got from your amazingly productive what was it campaign?
Yeah. So I have. I mean, I can bring the camera around. I'll be a little crazy for a moment, but
let's do it.
I got
hide your dildos.
Yeah.
And your drug paraphernalia. Hide all that too.
There we go. So I got myself a ring light.
Ring light.
I have a screw. I have a keyboard, and hiding down there is where can you see it? That's my new computer. Hiding down there.
All right. So, what did you do with the Flintstone style dinosaurs you used before you got your new computers? Are they being safely held in a pen, or did you slaughter them?
Oh no. I fed them. No, I didn't feed them to Nog. 1 second.
That's funny. He's like, look, I have a keyboard. I'm like, well, what were we using before? How does one interface with the internet without a keyboard?
No, I still have my trusty laptop. This is
look at that thing. Look at that thing.
This is 10 years old.
All right, if the FBI got their hands on that thing, would we still know you? Okay, yes, close it. That's how you save it. That's all you got to do is close it. They can't get in. Awesome. You know what? I just realized we don't have to end at 10. Specifically, we're already gone through the morning games. We could just keep going through it and talk about the afternoon games, and they're not going to be, affecting the morning. So I've always felt like we had a hard out, but I just realized, hey, no, we don't. We're good. We are good. But does anybody else have anything else to say about the Broncos at the Falcons? Would you be ever starting Drew Lock? Do you think that there's a momentum factor with Lock from last week? 3 touchdowns in the fourth quarter.
However, I do have something to say about Melvin Gordon, and that man is giving me heart attacks week in and week out. I don't know if he's going to show up and get me 20. I don't know if he shows up and gets me half a point. He might get 13. There's no telling with that man.
Well, if the eye test tells me that Phillip Lindsay is the better running back.
Right, but when's that guy healthy?
He's healthy today.
We'll see.
Yeah, I know. I mean, he's playing today, correct?
He should be.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. If he'll stay in, if he looks good. He's been questionable too, or suspect. He's been real suspect this year too.
Well, let's see. We can get our minions on that. Let's see. Malkier, can you look up whether or not Philip Lindsay is going to be playing today?
I will find out.
Lindsay, Landsay. Very interesting. Lindsay. Lindsay. All right, so we are moving on. This is going to be a fun one to talk about. The Raiders at the Chargers. And I got to say, ever since the Raiders left Oakland, I like them more. And I think it's a fun story. I'm not a huge fan of Gruden as a person and as a personality. I don't care what he brings to the world, but he seems to be strategically managing this team very, very well. They are able to reinvent themselves game after game, depending on the need. For instance, last week, they ran. The elements were not good, and the defense allowed it, and Josh Jacobs racked up over 100 yards. But other weeks, you're going to see David Carr fling it like he did against the Chiefs. So, again, I think the Raiders are really fun to watch. I do want to give John Gruden credit because the Raiders are adapting like the Patriots do. Like the Patriots, they are adapting week to week. And what that means for fantasy is that it is really hard to predict what Raider skill player is going to actually be getting the points. Darren Waller used to be a big play in the beginning of the year. That seems to be fading. I don't think his skill sets are fading. I don't think he's getting slower. They are just, scheming away from him. Josh Jacobs is up and down, and that's been frustrating as a Jacobs owner. Last week was great for me. 2 weeks ago, not so good. But let's get into this. Some pertinent facts. Okay, Josh Jacobs is the 7th best running back with 522 rushing yards so far. Right now we have David Carr versus Justin Herbert, and which defense will be able to show up? That's going to be the question, because obviously Carr and Herbert can sling it. Herbert's averaging 303 yards per game, and that's the most ever by a rookie. Ever. And both teams are in the bottom 20th and how many passing yards they allowed per game. So what that means to me is we are firing up our wide receivers on both teams. Correct.
Yep.
And then the big debate will be whether or not you are looking into Austin Eckler or Joshua. Who's the other running back for the Chargers? Taylor?
Is Eckler playing this week?
That's the big question. We need to find that out also. I think he is. Yeah, we don't know yet. We're going to have to find that out. That's a good question.
Lindsay's playing this week, by the way.
All right. Beautiful. Lindsay is in. So that will affect Melvin Gordon's output for sure. I would definitely not be playing Melvin Gordon this week. I do believe that Philip Lindsay's usage is increasing, and he is just a much more dynamic running back. Melvin Gordon seems plodding compared to Philip Lindsay's burst. Now, the next one I want you to look up, Malkier, thank you so much. His name is Austin Eckler, Ekeler. Austin Eckler. Is he in or out today? That is very helpful. All right, so Raiders at Chargers. The over-under is 44.5, and I'm a little surprised by that. I think it's going to be a much more high-scoring game. What do you think, Dean? Oh, we lost Dean, but that is a very nice pose he's showing.
That's a sexy pose. There's no.
That really is. No, we lost you for a second. What do you think about that over-under at being 44.5? Do you think it's going to be more scoring than that?
I do think it. I think Derek Carr and Herbert will be throwing the ball. But like you said, Gruden's played very well in his mind scheming and his mind games and running the game that he wants to play. And if he can impose a a lower scoring game, he might do that to try to cool Herbert down. I don't know. I don't know what happens. I haven't watched either team play much this year, so I'm a little lower informed than I probably should be.
No, that's all good though. No, but be honest, please. That's great. All right, let's move on. So
I have an Eckler update.
What is that?
Eckler is not playing. It is suggested he will be returning much later in the 4 to 6 week expected injury recovery. They gave him 4 to 6 weeks to recover, and they're expecting it to be later than it. So it's more towards the 6 weeks than 4 weeks.
All right. So yes, that probably was not. That was probably more common knowledge if he's that injured. Awesome. Thank you so much. Minions. What do you do with them? Austin Eckler, boom, out. Calvin Ridley, boom, out. Here we go. Philip Lindsay is in. That is a big one also. Philip Lindsay is in. All right, so moving right along. Remove these banners, and let's get into the most exciting, most titillating, what might be the closest game ever in the history of NFL. The Steelers at Cowboys, and I am joking. The over-under is 44 points. I believe they think the Steelers are going to score 44 points. Garrett Gilbert, the unknown, the fourth quarterback to start for the Cowboys this year. Garrett Gilbert is going to start for the Cowboys. Dallas is the 7th best passing defense and is last at stopping the run. That's correct. They cannot stop the run. What's that mean for the Steelers, who have just been dominating through the air with all these great, amazing plays? Is that going to continue, or is this going to be a plodding James Conner game? We have it, and I add it in there. The over-under, 1 touchdown for Mason Crosby. I'd love to get into that discussion. Steelers, they force 1.9 turnovers per game. The Cowboys are committing 2.3 turnovers per game. 2.3. That's amazing. And prior to Dak's injury, Zeke was RB4, but post Zach injury, he is a volume play at best. Whew. Is this going to be the beatdown of the century?
Hopefully, it's always good to watch Dallas get beat on.
My bestie here loves Dallas, so I can hate on her a little bit when they play and lose. So yeah.
Oh, good. No, who likes Dallas? God damn it. Yeah, I don't like any team that's run by a megalomaniac. Thank God that he only just does football. Imagine if when he gets into politics. But yeah, so Dallas is abysmal. They're tanking, tanking. Start everyone against Dallas. Am I correct? Do we start anybody on Dallas? Anybody? Do we start Ezekiel Elliott?
I think Zeke could be RB2. Perhaps.
All right. Do you think Ezekiel Elliott will break 14 fantasy points this week?
No.
Okay.
Do we know? Hasn't he been injured?
Zeke?
I mean, Pollard. Could be a bigger play. I don't know. Like, are they going to kind of rest him if he's injured? Anyone have an update on that?
All right. Well, let's look that up. Next one, Malky or Rob. Let's look up Ezekiel Elliott. Thanks for that. He is going to be what I believe is a game time decision. They're going to test him out prior to the game.
I got a question for Mr. Steelers fan. I have Eric Ebron, and I have Evan Ingram. Who do I start?
Wow.
Got to be Ebron, right?
You asked about Ebron last week. Who?
I went with Ebron, and he did me well. He got that touchdown.
He had a great game. I mean, look, I would normally say Ebron. I think my answer will still be Ebron, but the fact that all the Steelers could have a good game, does everyone like have a good game, but no one has an awesome game because everyone's scoring a little bit, right? Like, does it spread out too thin? But I guess I don't know how you don't go with Ebron.
Everyone could score.
Yeah. So
Twice.
I think the answer is Ebron. Even though Ingram has definitely over the last couple of games, he's actually starting to catch the ball that's thrown his way with the high volume that's thrown his way. I still, it's hard. It's still hard to trust. I don't know. Maybe for a lot of people, he's in their circle of trust, but I'd probably still go with Ebron.
Yep.
Then again, maybe I'm a homer here.
All right, I'm interrupting the show for a listener question. We got Moss, Gallman, Pollard, or John Brown, and this is standard scoring.
Standard.
Unless I guess imagine we picking one.
Wow.
I'm saying Zach Moss. It's my guess.
Yeah, definitely. Wow.
I mean, I'm 12th in the league, so maybe I shouldn't pick one for them.
No, yeah. If you don't have an opinion, just it's all good. Let's not confuse them. Yeah, I would if I was facing this decision, I would go with Moss.
Yeah, I guess I'd go with Moss too. I'm actually considering John Brown, just given the amazing opportunity that they will have against the defense that they're playing.
I know, but is it going to be a Moss or Brown game? Is the question, right?
I guess I would go with Moss too.
Yeah. Or is it going to split up? Yeah, I mean, and for me, it was between Moss and Gallman, but yeah, I went with Moss. Good question, man. Nolan B. If you have an Etsy account, or something you want to plug, just let us know. YouTube channel, good luck with it. All right, so, yeah, not really that much interesting analysis to have with this. It's just more fun to beat up on the Cowboys, and kind of relish in it and watch it go down. I want to see Jerry Jones cry.
Have you ready? Update?
Thank you, Nolan B. You're welcome. Oh, I know. Give us a subscribe, buddy. That'd be great. All right,
you ready to update?
Yes, please.
So the offensive coordinator Kellen Moore is describing the situation as wait and see, but I'm reading here they've activated running back Sewu Olonilua. I'm probably saying that really wrong. I'm sorry.
I think you said it perfectly.
Okay, and they reckon that indicates that Zeke is more doubtful than questionable for the game against the Steelers. So.
Oh, and now we're moving towards doubtful. That's the first time I've heard that. Thank you, Rob. Super helpful. Yeah. So, what does that mean? Everyone's saying play Pollard. I wouldn't. I mean, why would you? Like literally, I woke up on Twitter and people were saying, "Oh man, Pollard." Nope.
I've got him sitting on my bench, and he will stay there.
Stay on. Yes, you say it's all right, buddy. It's all right. They might break you. The Dallas Cowboys might just become a broken, just heart, just a stomped on, broken, just piece of shit. Like, woo! Oh, I'm not biased. All right, yeah. No one heard that. It's all love. All right, moving right along to an actual game with real discussions. All right, we have the Dolphins at the Cardinals. When over-under is 49.5 points. The Dolphins allow 18.6 points per game. Did you guys freaking know that the Dolphins are the best defense in the league?
Wow.
Yes, no one knows this. Apparently, just like the Raiders, the Dolphin defense is able to scheme like a mother effer, and they reinvent themselves each week. They play different formations. They're really, I guess, a tricky team to play against, and they are proving to be the low. You can't score against them, basically. But we are now coming with Kyler Murray, who is just ridiculous, and he has a 105.1 passer rating since week 4. The Cardinals' first punt return touchdown came the whole year came from the Cardinals last week, and Hopkins is a top 10 wide receiver for the last 5 of 7 games. He is on fire. Is that going to continue against the Dolphins' dominant defense? What do you think?
I mean, at the end of the day, you're obviously not sitting Hopkins. You're playing Hopkins. You're playing Chase Edmonds this week. I mean, Drake's out, so Chase Edmonds is, I don't know what ECR is, but he's definitely probably top 10 this week. So you're playing him. Dolphins defense is good, but it doesn't mean that the star players for the Cardinals aren't going to get their level.
You are correct. They have Chase Edmonds at the consensus ranked 6th running back, and I don't understand it. I literally don't understand it. Those numbers don't lie. This is the best defense in the league. Chase Edmonds has not proven himself to be anything. He's a volume play at best. I don't see where the scores are going to be coming from. I
think it's not a timeshare. I mean, he is going to have the workload. And two, the Miami's defense is softer against the run, right? So understood on the stat, but they have more opportunity with the run.
Mm-hmm. Okay, fair enough. So you would fire? Yeah, I mean, you would agree with the experts. You think 6th? I don't think he's in top 10. But you do agree with 6?
I don't know. I agree with top 10.
Right.
6, 5, 9.
Yeah.
I think it's still top 10.
All right. Cool.
I think where it really impacts is so Christian Kirk, right? So kind of the second wide receiver for the Cardinals. He's had some good games, but I think that's where it drops off. I think you're probably not starting Kirk unless you have to.
Yeah, I hear you on that one. I wouldn't be. Not this week. All right. Anybody else have anything to say? Dean, fading. Dean needs a nap. All right.
Yeah, need one.
Yeah, drink some water, buddy. All right, so we're going to move on to the Saints at Tampa Bay. I'm excited for this game. The over-under is 49.5 points. I thought I would imagine it to be more. The Saints are the worst red zone defense in the league, and Tampa is 22 for 22 inside the red zone. Have you heard anything like that?
Wow.
That is surgical. I want I want my appendix taken out by the Tampa offense in the red zone. They're that good. Now we're adding Antonio Brown to this, one of the greatest wide receivers possibly in the history of the game when he is not having a bipolar episode. Alvin Kamara leads the league with 987 total yards, and that is double that of any Saints player to this point. And the last 3 matchups, Evans has 5 catches, and he's ran 119 routes. All right, so over 3 games, he's just running around, and they are not throwing it to Mike Evans, an elite talent. He is injured, and I do believe that is affecting him, but there is something going on. Brady is not really going to Mike Evans. What's behind these numbers, Darren?
Yeah, I think Antonio Brown's going to have a good game. Normally, if he's, you have someone come in, first game, you're a little nervous, probably conservative. That's usually how I play. But, man, can you imagine the conversation? He's living at Tom Brady's house right now. Can you imagine the conversation when they get home if Tom Brady doesn't throw to him today? They're going to be going into different rooms and well, if you would have just thrown to me today, he's like, hey, buddy, you want to watch a movie? No, I'm fine. I don't need to watch a movie with you.
No, Tom Brady's going to find like pubic hairs in his razor because, Antonio Brown's using it to manscape.
Oh, God.
We know a story about that. We won't get into it. That is a true story, but not. Anyway, so, yeah, I agree. I was able to pick up Antonio Brown in 2 of my leagues, and I'm definitely playing him. All I have to see is what I saw that one game last year. He force-fed him. It worked. They could literally draw plays on their hands, and I think it would work. So I'm playing. I just think
Mike Evans could have a bad game because his volume has not been there. He's only been saved with touchdowns. And if Tom Brady decides, hey, Antonio Brown, today's your day, like Evans could be kind of shut out.
All right, now I want to find out. Rob, let's look up. Oh, it's actually 3 minutes to 10. Let's look up Chris Godwin, please. Tell me if Chris Godwin is playing.
I think he is.
Okay.
But, yeah, look it up.
But, yeah, so Antonio Brown definitely is a must start. If you have him, I would play all of my Tampa Bay skill players. Basically, I would play Ronald Jones and I would play Leonard Fournette. I
Hey,
think.
we're forgetting Michael Thomas is back. First game, right?
And there we have it. Yes, and that's why I'm surprised that the overall point total is less than 50. That is surprising to me. All right, this is just a addled day of technological issues, but
it's going crazy, isn't it?
let's not let this bring us down. This is a day of celebration. It's Sunday. It's week 9. This is the way of the league. Unfortunately, Brother Dan was not able to join us for the discussion, but he will be back in the next episode. And it is boiling down to game time. Do you have any questions, everybody? Get in those line of questions. Last week, they were furiously popping in at the last minute. It was super fun. And I think we got them all right, but we will refuse to go back and see if we are correct on any of our predictions. It is the way. All right, so yes, Mike Evans, F him. Antonio Browns, woo! Dean's got his belt on. Thanks. Oh, we love the belt. And Rob, do you have an update?
I do. He is expected to play. I can't get a definite either way. The best I'm getting is expected, but everyone says he's been cleared to play. So I would think he's going to play, judging from everything I can find.
All right. Beautiful. And we have, real quickly, let's get into the Mustache Hall of Fame. We have Gio Bernard, Gavin Minshew, Ben Davidson, our friend Aaron Rodgers, and then this handsome fella who... receives you at the DMV and processes your paperwork. But back in the day, he was an NFL player. All right, so we have one more matchup to get through, and then we'll get into the fantasy awards, and then we will call it a day.
Don't forget the Twitter questions.
And thank you. Right, that's why there's no IN team. The last matchup is we have the Pats at the Jets, and the over-under is 41.5 points, even though these defenses are silly. Damian Harris has 15 carries for 102 yards. Who's that? No one knows, but he is the running back who is getting the bulk of carries in the backfield. I would recommend that Rob, Malkier Talk, look to see if our league, Damian Harris, is available and put him in instead of Rex Burkhead. I think Burkhead is not the play this week. If Damian Harris is available in our league, I would grab him, Rob, and replace him in the lineup.
Hold on, we got to look up. Is Sony Michel playing? Has he been activated? Is he playing in the game?
That's a good point. Still, either way, I still think Damian Harris is better play than Rex Burkhead. All right, there might be better running backs in our league to pick up. Also, I'm not precluding that as a fact, but he does have Rex Burkhead in, and I do believe Harris will have a better game than Burkhead. All right. The Jets are giving up 140 rushing yards per game. That's why we're even talking about this. Who is going to be the one to capitalize on that? The Patriots get 3 defensive starters back, including Stephon Gilmore. So they might look like a different team, but the Jets might look like the same team. That's my prediction. We have Cam Newton. He has 0 touchdowns, 5 interceptions, and a 25.3 total QBR over the last couple of games. And the Patriots wide receivers have 1 total receiving touchdown this year. Is that going to change? Is today the day where Cam Newton throws multiple touchdowns?
I don't think he does, but here's the big but.
Big but.
I think his success today could come from his rushing ability. I think there's an opportunity for Cam to actually have a decent game today, but I think it's going to be him running on the ground.
Yeah, I mean, I can't imagine if they're within 5 yards of the goal line, that Cam is going to audible out of every pass play, every run play, and just say, "I'm taking it, boys." I feel like this is going to be a bit of a redemption game for Cam Newton, for sure.
But I do think, I mean, look up if Sony Michel has been activated, if he's playing. I think that muddies the water for Harris. It muddies the water for Burkhead. It muddies the water for James White. It muddies the water for kind of the entire backfield for the Patriots.
All right. Are you looking that up, Rob? Sony Michel, Sony, and then Michel, Michell.
Just looking at Harris quickly, he's on DT's dream team, so.
Okay, bummer. He already grabbed him.
Sorry, Sony who?
Sony Michel, Michel. And if he's available, pick him up and put him in instead of Rex Burkhead.
While you're looking up, I think Crowder's back for the Jets, and if there's one guy you can kind of sort of trust, Crowder is the clear number one wide receiver for the Jets, which means you're probably not playing anyone else. If Crowder is playing, you're probably not playing anyone else on the Jets.
That's interesting call because Gilmore is back, doesn't he? Would he be covering him like the entire game? Is that how they employ Gilmore, or is he just stay on one side of the field?
I think Crowder has still been a top 10 wide receiver for the season when he's been playing, regardless of matchup. That's a good call. Thank you so much for that one. Do we have an update on Michel?
Yeah, he's on the injured reserve list according to Yahoo.
Okay.
Yep, so he is not playing. Yes, it is a Damian Harris show, in my opinion. All right, everybody.
Be sure to smash our like button and subscribe to our channel.
Yes.
What he said.
All of that, what he said. And we are going to put a cap on all the recaps of the game. We are done. We're capped the recaps. We are done recapping, and we are moving into the final phase of our show. Everybody, thank you for watching, and please give us a like and subscribe. Let's get into the Twitter poll. We're going to go around the horn and get everyone's answers. All right, over-under. Antonio Brown with 7 targets. What say you, Rob?
Let's go over.
Over. Darren.
I'm going to say over, but can we make it 6.9 targets? What if he hits 7 exactly?
Good point. I'll fix that in post. Dean.
6.9. It's over 6.9.
All right, wait, I did it. You're right, everyone. I did the poll this week, and I don't do polls. This is my first try, but I will learn as going forward. So
we'll call it 7+. It's okay.
All right. What about you, Dean?
I think over. I think Brady wants to get him hot.
Yeah, I say over too. All right. Who will score more fantasy points, Tua or Josh Allen?
Josh Allen.
Ditto.
Josh Allen.
Yeah, for the matchup, Josh Allen. Yes. Over under Mason Crosby at 1 touchdown. Will he come in and throw a touchdown in garbage time? In the beatdown on the Dallas Cowboys?
Under.
Yeah, I'm under as well.
I'll beat up the Cowboys. Over.
I'm over too. I believe it's going to happen. Who will have more total yards, Christian McCaffrey or Derrick Henry? That is total yards, including passing.
Derrick Henry.
I'll go McCaffrey.
I got to go with Derrick Henry. At least that's the hope.
Yeah, I know. Homer. I'm going McCaffrey also. And then the over-under is Garrett Gilbert at 2 turnovers against the Steelers.
Let's go over.
I'm going under.
You're going under, okay.
Yeah.
I'm going over. Over. All right, and we'll get Brother Dan's answers as soon as possible. We'll add it to the poll. And again, at some point, we will show you the totals and see who's winning. Our minions are slow. All right. Last but not least, we need to get into our Leagues Awards. These are the way of the Fantasy League, and these are our weekly awards, and we'll go through them one by a time. So yes, the Green Man Hug Award. Again, if you do not know the Wheel of Time, we recommend you go out and start reading it. Get the Audible book. Start enjoying it. Amazon's making a show about it. It's going to be a big thing. People are saying it's going to be the next Game of Thrones. You want to be hip. You want to be stellar. You want to be liked by all your friends. If you actually know the book, you can be the guy who'd be like, I read this. Oh, you like the show? I read this. You want to be that guy? All right. Anyway, so the Green Man Hug Award. We won't tell you what a Green Man is, but they're in the books. You get a big hug from the Green Man when you have the most embarrassing week, and what up Stone Dogs did for losing by 82.5 points, and he is 22.5 points less than his projections. Number 2, we have the Unpaid Toe Award. Because shit ain't going right. That goes to DT. He has 40.57 points under his weekly expectations last week. So his team did not perform. They shit the bed. And we have the Great Captains Award for having the highest weekly point totals. And that goes to Dean. Yes. It is astounding. Oh, you guys saw me. What happens when I'm not doing it? I'm passed out on the... Oh, hey. Oh, whoa, sorry. All right. So the next is the Hidden Angreal Award for the team with players that far exceeded expectations, and that goes to the Way of the Ryan. Who's that? Me! Because I won by 82.5 points, and my team went 33.52 points over the expectations. Next is the Galwin Award for the team with the worst record, because Galwin is just the worst. And that goes to Daniel the Puppet Bro. He is on a 4-game losing streak. We will turn that around if he follows our expert advice. The Bella Award for the team with the toughest opponents so far. And that used to be Dean's Award, but that now goes to Daniel the Puppet Bro. He's had 985 points against him, and that's the highest in the league.
I'm not going to say that's because I did spank him last week, but I'm pretty sure it's because I spanked him last week.
Yes. Basically, yeah, if you face Dean, all the numbers get skewed. Now we have the Dark Friend of Jason Ward for the team who didn't set their lineup, and that goes to Watt Up Stone Dogs. He is the 6-time winner. And then the Egwin's Bath Award for the team with the easiest path so far, and that actually goes to me. I've had 703 points against me, which is the fewest in the league, and that kind of explains why I'm third. I have squeaked out some nail biters, and I've had underperforming weeks. The week I lost to Dean, his team underperformed, and mine did too. It just was a matter of who shit the bed worst. Typically, that's me. All right. So, everybody, what do you think? What do you think? What do you think? Any last tidbits? Any last points to bring up before we end the show and start watching football?
The Twitter poll is finished. You have your final results.
Thank you for the reminder. Yes, the Twitter poll. Twitter says Antonio Brown with 7 targets. They say over at 52%. We had 21 votes for that, so that's a nail biter on that one. Who will score more fantasy points, Tua or Josh Allen? Twitter at 29 votes gives Josh Allen 55.2% chance to score more points. Over under for Mason Crosby at 1 touchdown with 8 votes. Shockingly, 62.5% says under. Who will have more total yards, McCaffrey or Derrick Henry? At 20 votes, Twitter says Christian McCaffrey will win that with 65% of the votes. And Garrett Gilbert, 2 turnovers. Twitter says that there's a 60% chance he will get 2 turnovers. Or
I want to recount.
Recount. We'll see how we stack up against the universe. Twitter is the universe. Jake D says, good luck, everyone. Have a great week. Yes, Jake, you too. Enjoy football. Enjoy life. Everyone, enjoy your perspective worlds, be it puppet, be it human, be it hybrid. Men, women, in-betweeners, everybody, have a great life. We will be back at this next week. Yes.
Okay.
We want
Good luck, everyone.
Talk to us on Twitter. Give us a subscribe.
Like, hit the bell.
We are. Oh, we have a little minion.
Minion.
Little minion.
That's Daddy Daddy.
Yep.
Oh. Minions. We love it. All right.